Ladies and gentlemen, DeSantis has pretty much given up. He's done for 2024. Rolling Stone, key DeSantis donors rip him in private. What is wrong with Ron DeSantis? This is an article today. And, of course, the article in Rolling Stone is about how Ron DeSantis isn't liberal enough. My goodness. He is too much like Trump. God forbid. Oh, my God. You need somebody like Paul Ryan, Liz Cheney, and Adam Kinzinger, who are no longer in government for a reason, because they're not like Trump. Even though it's interesting, Cheney and Kinzinger, what a racket. They voted alongside Trump, according to 538, in Congress over 90% of the time. Think about that for a second. Now Kinzinger is at CNN. Are there any Democratic Party politicians voting alongside Trump in Congress 90% of the time? Okay? He's at CNN now because he opposed, well, we don't really know, other than he was on the January panel and he wanted a great deal more money after politics. But Kinzinger voted alongside Trump 90% of the time. Nobody has a problem with Trump's policies. Media despises Trump, and you had intel agencies siding with the Democratic Party, accusing him of being an operative of the Kremlin. That never happened. Then they accused him in January. They couldn't indict him there because he said peacefully and patriotically. He did not tell anyone to commit a crime. They didn't even really indict him in New York. They did, but there's no federal crime. The FEC didn't find that Trump committed a crime. But anyway, so, and everyone is saying the indictment is a complete, like an absolute failure and an unmitigated disaster in a political sense, because everyone knows that Trump did not commit a crime in New York. That's why there's no indictment. There's no federal crime listed within the indictment. So they're so desperate to take out Trump. And DeSantis and Trump is actually up over Biden, 1.7 points in Real Clear Politics. We had record low poverty with Trump. We had record low poverty with Trump in 2019. We had record highs in household median income with Trump in 2019. We didn't have an invasion in Europe. But anyway, it's like an absolute catastrophe now in terms of foreign policy and economic policy. But here, Rolling Stone, key DeSantis donors rip him in private. What is wrong with Ron DeSantis? An NBC News article that I've cited before says that he's losing donors. But here, meet the richest man in Florida, Hungarian immigrant who despises socialism and hangs out at Mar-a-Lago. This is one of the people who went from Trump to DeSantis and will almost certainly go back to Trump again. The problem is not that Trump can't regain the Oval Office. He's already defeated Clinton, okay? The problem is the Georgia and Arizona, the trying to find some way to make peace with the Georgia and Arizona Republican parties. We can talk and do these segments, and we can speculate and discuss 2024 from every single day, which we will, until November of 24. It comes down to one day, okay? That one day, DeSantis ain't gonna win, because DeSantis is already losing billionaire donors. He's caught between a rock and a hard place. He can't run as being a clone of former President Trump, who again presided over fantastic accomplishments, infinitely more than the catastrophe we see today. So DeSantis can't run as a clone of Trump because we already have the original. We have the man that everyone is trying to stop. So we have Donald Trump, who negotiated the Doha Agreement that Biden completely botched. Okay, those 13 Americans should be alive today. There's over 100 Afghans should be alive today. Biden completely botched the withdrawal. It was a May 1st, 2021 withdrawal. You have Trump with the Abraham Accords, landmark, groundbreaking achievement in the Middle East. You have the first president step foot in North Korea. You have tariffs against the most populous country in the world that could, God forbid, invade Taiwan. And Democrats kept the tariffs. Just like they kept the Trump tax cuts. We had 2% inflation with Trump when he left. It's now 6 to 7%. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. To my super thanks. Thank you so much. I see the super thanks. People are giving super thanks. I thank you so very, very much. So awesome. To the Patreon. That's super thanks below next to the like and the share buttons. To my new Patreons, thank you. $1, $5, $10, whatever you... This is a viewer-funded channel. I don't have any sponsors yet. If you enjoy my work, your Patreon support is greatly appreciated. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications. And go to contactgoodman88@gmail.com. Email me if you want to become part of a newsletter. Ladies and gentlemen, the billionaire donors are leaving DeSantis. Why? Well, Trump was the best president. Trump is the best president of my lifetime. Objectively, I don't know of any other president that has accomplished more than him without any media support. I don't think that Trump gets enough credit for being able to have had a successful presidency. I mean, his last year in office, you could say, oh my God, it was a catastrophe. Like, more people lost their lives in the first year of Biden, okay, from that. Secondly, it wasn't Trump's policy to shut down economic activity. Okay, he should never have acquiesced. I mean, he couldn't force governors either way, but it was, 2 weeks and 2 months. Not even then. Like, his thing was get back to working as soon as possible, get back to life in society. Democrats gleefully tanked their states, and Democratic governors shut down their economies, and then gradually opened up until they regained the Oval Office, until they got the Oval Office. And so that's not Trump's fault. Everything that Trump ever did was opposed by media, and media influences the same people who won't talk to you anymore. So the interesting thing is life is objectively worse under Biden. There's no, I don't know of any Democrat who has said life is better. They just say Trump is terrible and horrible and a monster and bad for democracy. Nobody ever says that life is better under Biden. Nobody ever says, inflation is worth not having Trump. They don't speak in those terms. They don't say, well, there was an invasion. Though with the invasion, they say in Europe, they say, could you imagine if Trump was in office? Yeah, we wouldn't have had it. We wouldn't have had the invasion because he would have pushed. This is one of the few times in recent modern world history where the U.S. is completely removed, other than trying to foment. I mean, we've sided with the enemies of our adversaries before, but there's no effort for a peace negotiation or settlement. Zero effort. So, I mean, we've seen this before in the early 80s, but it's like the Berlin already fell. The 80s want their foreign policy back, which is what President Obama told Mitt Romney. They go back and forth between being the JFK Cold Warriors and, the Cold War is over. And so there is no, Trump focused on economic growth, which is the basis of our military might. And what is Biden focusing on? Just whatever is popular within Democratic Party activist circles. What is he doing? What is he doing? What is it that he's doing to better the country? Okay, that's why Trump has a very good chance at regaining the Oval Office and making some kind of peace deal with the Arizona and Georgia Republican parties. What is Biden doing? What are Democrats doing in the executive branch and in the Senate to make the country more prosperous and to make the world safer? If you've lasted this long on this segment, what are they doing? Can somebody answer that in the comments section? It's a rhetorical question, obviously, for the viewers on this channel. What is Biden doing? Because we know what Trump did. The world was objectively safer. The economy was objectively, obviously, a better economy. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back in a couple of hours. This is a question everyone should ask. Everyone should ask this question. Give me your thoughts. Thank you.